Good evening, I'm Jim. This just in, there is a major conflict brewing in southern Connecticut that's being referred to as Survivor Branford Season 11. In a developing situation, an enemy unit of 7 out-of-staters recently made landfall in Branford, with 7 of Connecticut's best quickly mobilizing against them. I'm on site and holed up in a bunker ready to report on all of the latest breaking news. We've just received intelligence regarding the identities of all of the involved parties and caution you not to approach them as they're all extremely dangerous. Players. Stay tuned for more after this. The first confirmed member of the invaders is Kate, a Survivor Branford superfan. She's looking to go undercover and craft a winning game plan. Now when I say undercover, I mean that Kate is not looking to volunteer that she's been following Survivor Branford for years. Coming in with familiarity of any returning players she may encounter, and knowledge of previous twists to Survivor Branford seasons, Kate may have an early leg up. With personality for days, and seemingly unlimited energy, Kate's going to make her presence known this season one way or another. I'll be interested to see if she attempts to lean right in, or curb her normal tendencies and fit more into the middle of her tribe's social structure. One of Kate's earliest problems in the game could be the one that we'd all love to have, figuring out who to work with when everyone wants to work with you. Kate should be a solid challenge contributor, as she boasts a dance background which certainly has come in handy for Castaways in past seasons. As long as she doesn't get overwhelmed by the pace of the game, or give that impression to her tribe mates, I think Kate is in a great spot to go far, and that's a win for every viewer. Someone being reported to relish the role of attacker is Adrien, and when Adrien's on your team is that much stronger. This will present itself in several ways. A blue-collar worker who's dabbled in parkour, Adrien brings the physical strength that's such a valuable commodity in the early game. And with a mindset of wanting to bond with people and form unity, Adrien's tribe may be built upon a very solid foundation. An aspiring paramedic, Adrien is motivated by helping people, and admits to leaning more towards the underdogs. Someone who's on the quieter side, Adrien will likely have to develop the habit of making their voice heard to stay connected with the tribe, and not forcing the other castaways to do any mind reading, which is never a good situation. Newer to Survivor than many of the other castaways, Adrien may bring some fresh takes to the game, and go against the grain, which could lead to some dynamic results. I'm glad to have Adrien here, and that feeling will only strengthen with each passing tribal council. One who is thought to be on the Connecticut side, but flipped her allegiance, is Sara Elizabeth. Though she grew up here, she's found success elsewhere, and is happy to demonstrate her loyalty to her new home. If you cut through Sara Elizabeth's one-of-a-kind personality and her distinctive laugh, you'll find a very loyal player. That loyalty went against Sara Elizabeth's better judgment last season, as she stayed on the sinking ship, which ended her game early. This season, she's vowing to go back to basics in positioning herself as an integral part of everyone's game, while also considering dialing up the deviousness a notch or two. Over the course of 2 seasons of Survivor Branford, Sara Elizabeth has honed quite the strategic mind, which may be her secret weapon and is cleverly hidden behind the carefree way she presents herself in the game. Having played both main cast and bit parts in Survivor Branford in the past, this season, Sara Elizabeth is hoping to make herself the star attraction that keeps everyone watching. In an exclusive, we can now reveal that Andy can be counted among the trespassing force. A man of many talents, Andy intends to use them for good rather than evil. Well, your perspectives on that may vary depending on what side of the battlefield you're on. A very family-oriented person, it would not surprise me to see Andy stay true to his tribe, his game family, for as long as possible over the duration of Season 11. Having lived all over, but never in Connecticut, Andy should be able to draw on his past experience to find commonalities with each of his tribe mates. While it's become more in style to not take on the spotlight role in challenges, Andy feels differently and wants to be the one who's tasked with making that final throw or putting the puzzle together. Andy refers to himself as an expert in placating, which is a talent that gets your foot in the door with any tribe, and often longevity with any tribe. Someone with whose humor and improvisational skills I connect with, in one way, shape, or form, Andy is sure to leave his fingerprints all over this season. If you call her a rogue, you might regret it, so instead, just call her Cameron. She brings in New York City street smarts and attitude, and should feel right at home in this game. Cameron discovered Survivor about 5 years ago and has rapidly consumed it ever since. She's always wondered how she'd fare on the island, and Survivor Branford should prove a good barometer of that. Additionally, Cameron views the opportunity as a way to continue to try new things and push herself outside of her comfort zone. Cameron is looking to walk the fine line of playing a loyal but flexible game, which if she could pull off would certainly have us all talking. In getting to know Cameron a bit, I would warn the rest of the Castaways not to take a shot at her unless they're sure it'll hit. Because if not, I think the prospects of getting Cameron back onto your side in a working relationship are slim. I'm predicting that Cameron will emerge as the emotional leader of her tribe, which is usually a role that corresponds to longevity in the game. However, it's also a taxing role, and Cameron's going to need to always be aware of keeping her energy and her guard turned up. Numerous witnesses have also stated that John could be found among the intruders, and that fact alone is going to significantly increase the number of supporters of the road team this season. To this point, we've had over 70 players participate in Survivor Branford, and it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that John may be the most charismatic of them all. Almost always found with a smile on his face, John is going to be able to very easily make each relationship he has feel special and unique, and may reach a point where he has to turn on someone who thinks he's their number one ally. Only because everyone may think he's their number one ally. Forget book clubs. John hosts reality TV watching clubs and is well versed in the strategy that goes into Survivor. With aspirations of getting into cybersecurity, it's appropriate that John should be feeling a lot of security in the early game. The thing I'm most looking forward to seeing is if John becomes a huge individual threat, will the rest of the Castaways use their heads in taking him out, or will he have already charmed his way into their hearts and into the final tribal council? More breaking news. Several independent sources now list soon-to-be 10-time Survivor Branford player Dennis to be among the scallywags. After not seeing Dennis at all in Season 10, except for this video, he's looking to make an impactful return. Anything a player could want to do or not want to do is something Dennis has likely already experienced in his Survivor Branford history. Fueled by the way Season 10 played out, Dennis comes into this season optimistic and feeling fresh that he can have a fresh result in the game. He's also very excited to have the opportunity to forge new relationships, as this cast has less overlap with his past gameplay than any he's experienced before. Now, someone like Dennis can't just take off 1 year and expect that everyone won't know who he is, so he'll have to be prepared to deal with perceptions as a threat in this game. But with the blueprint from past successes, along with the ability to learn from past mistakes, Dennis may be equipped to finally get what he's been dreaming of for all these years. A fearsome bunch, but they may yet meet their match. They'll first have to contend with Jimmy, who won't be stopped from defending Connecticut. Maybe it's all in a name, or maybe I'm just biased, but Jimmy has as good a chance as any to see the endgame this season. The person Jimmy exudes good vibes, is easy to laugh and joke, and is an everyday role model as a 4th grade teacher. The game player Jimmy, though, expects to be a pot stirrer, chaotic, and unwilling to back down. With a first love of Big Brother, Jimmy has been active in the reality competition space for over a decade. He's been itching to find an opportunity to actually play for so long, and it's finally here. Jimmy describes his ideal ally as a sneaky female, so we'll have to see if that pans out once the game kicks off. Having been born outside the US and bilingual, luck may already be on Jimmy's side in joining Survivor Branford's most diverse cast to date. And with as talented a group as this one, it's any small potential edge like that which may make all the difference in the end. With such deep state pride, it's no surprise to see Quinn step up against the takeover. Though she's traveled the world, the fact that she still calls Connecticut her home says it all. Quinn is going to bring something unique to this game, and the fact that I can't figure out what that will be has me excited. She's definitely got extrovert energy, and I'm expecting that Quinn will very naturally become a well-liked member of her tribe. Though she may not have the same encyclopedic Survivor knowledge as some on her tribe, I think that's actually going to come in handy. It's very easy to imagine that others will both like Quinn and not be threatened by her, which should make the opportunities to find a strong alliance plentiful. And that's just where Quinn's going to want to be, set up with shields in front of her, and afforded the time to gauge the flow of the game and make smart decisions to advance herself further. Looking around at who else is playing this season, I think Quinn, like me, realizes that she could be a trendy dark horse pick that before anyone knows it, will be deep into day 2 of the game, with the chance for even more to follow. She might tell you that C stands for Connecticut, when she's really thinking that C stands for Casey. The recipient of my annual award for player I'm most excited to see back, Casey burned bright in her all-too-short stay in Season 10. She cultivated a chaotic, idol-finding, under-the-bus-throwing image her previous time out, and the biggest question I'd like to ask her is how she plans to downplay that to her tribe this season. Casey surely has lots to gain if she finds herself a member of a tribe that has challenge success, as safety from the vote could allow her to take a breath, find the time to play not at 110%, and work on building individual relationships with her tribe mates. While her old ways were incredibly entertaining, I'm rooting for Casey to make a run in this game and become better known as the strategic force and all-around challenge set that she's capable of transforming into. In a perfect world, maybe we could have it both ways, with Casey keeping her head down before the merge and earning a reputation as a solid tribe mate before unleashing a storm after the merge, upon which she'll ride to the endgame. We've just learned of a major lift to the defense in the form of Dylan. If this season's already good, Dylan helps push it to great, as he's got such an on-screen presence. Couple Dylan's past theater background with someone who may lean towards putting the game's interest over his own, and we're sure to get a dynamic product. Dylan has two distinct personas, one good, one bad, which I'm sure you'll hear about more from him directly as the season gets underway. Despite having tremendous knowledge of Survivor, it was surprising for me to learn that Dylan admits that the strategic game may not be his strong suit, but that would surely be offset by a strong social game. Dylan is talkative, and building relationships and getting to know people come easily to him. Since he's been candid in saying that he doesn't expect to win, Dylan is leaning into the fun aspects of the game and likely a reduced amount of pressure that comes with that. And maybe that style of not taking things too seriously will in fact result in Dylan's prediction being wrong, which I'm sure he won't mind at all. It should be no surprise that the reports of Tim running to the side of the resistance are indeed true. He's been waiting for another opportunity, after what he himself would call a disaster in his last time out. Tim played nearly the entirety of Season 9 on the bottom. With a tribe that couldn't win, and an opposition that wouldn't crack, Tim certainly was feeling the frustration. But in an ironic twist, it may be that horrible experience that gives Tim a boost coming into this game. In my opinion, a returning player will be much more game ready having had their past experience consist of fighting from the bottom, and not managing from the top. If Tim finds himself on the bottom this time, he should know how to handle the situation. If he finds himself on top, he'd understand how to empathize with those in the minority. Tim's past experience, coupled with his friendly personality, solid strategic sense, and swimming background, could lead to big results. This may be a rare case in which I wouldn't advise Tim to change much at all, and just hope that his luck can even out. Someone who can't resist heeding the call to action is Sara. Proud of both where she comes from and her Season 10 game, she's looking to combine the two and write the perfect ending to her Survivor story. Sara dominated Season 10 from the start, holding idols and advantages throughout, while always being well insulated and never truly threatened in the game. She had a dream run to the final three, and fell only a few votes short of the win. In making her return, Sara looks to be an even more dangerous player both in my eyes, and unfortunately for her, in the eyes of the rest of the Castaways. Also sporting a social game that has others raving, it's hard to find where Sara's weakness lies. In the past, Sara was able to cede the spotlight in physical challenges, so we'll have to see how she's able to perform if thrust into that role this time. Sara has been known to get fired up at times in conversation, and if provoked by the right person, could slip up, or even worse, become labeled as a contentious member of the tribe. Is it likely that Sara will enjoy the same smooth ride to the end of this season? No, it's not. But can she still get there by traveling whatever path she encounters? Absolutely. And finally, in a huge leveling of the playing field, the Connecticut defense has recruited Kevin to the cause. Already used to driving in the fast lane in real life, Kevin hopes that he's well accustomed to the speed that this game is played at. A genuinely nice guy and all-around athlete, Kevin would surely be a welcome addition to any tribe. I think that Kevin hits the sweet spot in terms of game knowledge that he brings into this season. He's ready for anything that may come his way, but isn't clouded by the strategic minutiae, which should allow him to remain nimble throughout. With a charm that's strong enough to radiate outside of your TV, we might be talking about the eventual fan favorite of Season 11. If there's anything that Kevin's worried about, it's finding those social inroads and being able to build several sources of information to keep up with the dynamics of the game. Perhaps the best course of action would be to channel his competitiveness and spur his tribe on to early wins to allow for the social bonds to come organically and at a pace comfortable for Kevin. Already friends with a couple of Survivor Branford legends, Kevin intends to one day be referred to a legend in his own right. With such an impressive group of castaways motivated by state pride, Survivor Branford Season 11 is sure to be worthy of being preserved in the history books for all of time. But sitting here now on the eve of battle, all we can do is speculate and forecast. And yes, a projection has just come in. According to our advanced simulators, we should expect that when all of the dust settles, it's Jimmy who's the last one left standing. The rare combination of outward friendliness and killer gameplay instinct seems to have made an impression on our simulator. The results also may be slightly skewed as our machine was made in Connecticut. Please though, be aware that after 10 years our model is still projecting with 0% accuracy, so it's important to consider that past results may be indicative of future outcomes. Our crew is on site as I speak, and ready to capture all of the action so that you could watch everything that goes down from a safe distance starting on January 17th. Survivor Branford Season 11 will be here before you know it, so please take all the necessary precautions before time runs out. Thank you, and good night.